Hello and welcome to Players Guild. My name is Loki and I'm joined by our lovely friend Scott, our guildmaster even.
Hello, everybody. And today we're talking about Shadowverse Evolve. So it's a game from Japan. It's an import game that we've played the translated version of, I guess.
I mean, we played with the Japanese starters, which, by the way, the opening is still on our channel, so you can check out.
hmm
It's going to be linked, hopefully, in the top comment.
Yeah, but it's coming out relatively soon. So we thought,
Yeah,
since the Facebook page is giving away all the spoilers, that we're going to talk about them and what you can expect to get from it, and some various tips, tricks, and fun bits to get started with this game. If you want to watch a how to play series, then let us know in the comments below. We'll happily do that if there is interest in doing so. But for now, we're going to ask the question: Is the starter deck fairy, Regal Fairy Princess, any good from the class of Forestcraft?
but first, we do have a sponsor to talk about.
We do.
We got sponsored by Vault X. If you don't know Vault X, they're an amazing creator of gaming accessories. Most
hmm
notably for all of those Bandai card game players, they have 3x4 binders, zip up binders that let you have your full collection on display very nicely, 3x4. But besides that, they have amazing quality of deck boxes. Uh, the normal 3x3 binders, even the smaller 2x2 binders are available. So if this is something that you find yourself needing, as all the card game players do check our affiliate link in the description and use Players Guild code for 10% discount for whatever you buy.
Yeah, we have our for the UK. We have a direct link. If not, the other one is for Amazon.com for the US. So it's really easy. Just put in that code, Players Guild, save yourself 10%, and have some of the best binders around and deck boxes if you need deck boxes.
Yeah. And now back to the video. So here we have a very quick look at how the starter deck looks like.
hmm
So Regal Fairy Princess is an elf class, which in English is a Forestcraft.
hmm
Sorry, I'm mostly used to the terminology from Japanese game, so I
Fine.
might be talking about it in different terms. Hopefully, Scott will help me keep on track. We can see
Off.
that all of the exclusive cards are at 3 copies each, which is the playset. And I think that's very useful and very good for the game because you only need to buy one starter deck to have a playset of cards.
Yeah, that's actually really good to see. The breakdown's quite nice. Some nice mix of exclusives there with cards that I'm assuming are going to be in the first set.
Yes.
Um,
So the first set comments. I'm going. We might as well talk about the rarity very quickly because the
yes.
rarity is marked by letters.
hmm
Uh, to explain, B is bronze, which is equivalent of common. S is silver, which is equivalent of rare.
hmm
G is gold, which is equivalent of like super rare. You get every
hmm
couple of packs gold card. And legendary is like the highest rarity, which would be not exactly a secret, but like ultra rare from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, fair enough.
So you get
But yeah, it's
free a box, I think.
it's nice to see all the exclusives are free of, which is the playset in this game, which is
Yes.
good. It's really good. I think that's a really healthy way of doing it. Most games nowadays tend to buy. You have to buy two of each starter deck at
Yep.
minimum. But this seems like it's just one and done. But the price is a little bit more for this game because there are other things that come into it with tokens and stuff like that.
Yes.
Um,
There's tokens. Also, the decks are a bit bigger than only the basic 40 cards, but that's for the evolve deck
yes, which we'll talk about
later
in a bit.
because we're going to have evolve cards, so we're going to talk about
Yes.
that. So let's start with the legendary for the starter deck. Aria, a fairy princess. So she's a 6 drop that is 5/5.
hmm
So 5 attack, 5 health. The damage stays here between turns, which is very important. Which she's not she's not going to be sticking around for long, but she's very useful and powerful follower. So what her abilities is ward, which means if she is exhausted, I think is the word. she needs to be attacked.
Mm.
They can't attack you, they can't attack your other followers. She needs to be the one that's being attacked.
Yeah.
Her Fanfare ability, which is when this card is played, you put up to 9 fairy tokens onto your field or into your EX area, which is like your separate hand where you can keep tokens and then play them out from there. Which means she creates essentially 9 cards for you.
Yeah, because we have a limited number of spaces on the board as well,
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
There's 5 spaces on the board and 5 spaces in the EX area.
Mhm.
Which means if you have nothing else, you play her and you get a full value.
Mhm.
But because it's up to 9, you can create less, which is also very useful. And
Mhm.
while she's on the field, your other pixie followers have Rush. And fairies, as you can imagine, are pixies.
Yes.
Rush means that they can attack immediately, so they don't have summoning sickness, but they cannot attack the player.
Mhm.
They can be used to clean up a very dangerous board. And then
That's true.
Arya is going to be sitting there and protecting your life from even more damage.
Yeah. She has a cost of 6, which is relatively manageable.
It's a mid game. It's a turn 6 of the game that you can drop her, which is actually relatively early.
Yeah. So I think once you like, she's a good card to swing the pendulum towards your favor. I think like she's a good if you're in a bad situation, she's gonna make you at least give you options, and if you're in a good situation, she's gonna push you even further.
I think one of the most important things about her is she doesn't require any setup.
Nope, she can just come out. She's
Yeah,
got
we're going to be
wards. She's
talking
got
about some
fanfare.
other cards. They require setup. They require other cards to work. No, she's just strong on her own.
Yeah, and it's worth noting since she's a pixie and princess as well.
Yes, but she only gives other pixies the rush. She doesn't give it herself. But yeah, in this game, the tribes are fairly important because
Hmm.
you have a fairy support, you have pixie support, you have dragon support, a lot of other things that are going to be helping with
Yeah.
different tribes. So it's worth noting.
Hmm.
Moving on, we have a silver card. So the gold card is an amulet in this deck, which means we're going to be talking about it later on when we go to amulets.
Hmm.
But we are looking at the cards in the order of reveal. So Rose Gardener is a very basic card which costs 3 and it's a 3/3. But it has
Hmm.
a skill to evolve. So now we're going to talk about evolution. So you can
Hmm.
see here, evolve. You have the symbol for evolution, which is E. Then you have the green one, which is the cost to evolve, and then it tells you if there would be something else to do. Because there are
Yeah.
evolutions, for example, where you need to discard a card or pay life or something like that.
This is just a straight evolve.
Yep. So to evolve, you need to pay the energy that's noted by the evolve skill, and you can only evolve one follower a turn.
Hmm.
To evolve a follower, you find a follower with the same name in your evolution deck, which can have up to 10 cards,
Hmm.
and you play a face down follower with the same evolution, with the same name on top of the follower you're evolving.
Yeah.
After this evolved follower is going to be removed, it goes face up to your evolution deck, so you cannot use it again.
Yep. So she goes from a free cost 3/3 into a 4/4 with on evolve. Select an enemy follower on the field, return it to its owner's hand. Combo free. Draw a card. Tokens returned to a player's hand are removed from the game.
So every class, every craft, sorry, has its own gimmick.
Hmm.
Gimmick for Forestcraft is playing as many cards in a turn as possible. Combo means if you have played X amount of cards this turn. Counting this card. Well, the evolution doesn't count as playing a card,
No,
but
but
if
the Rose Gardener.
yes, playing the original Rose Gardener would count as a third card being played. Which means if you just on turn 3 you just play Rose Gardener and have an ability to evolve,
Hmm.
you will still bounce your opponent's follower. But if you manage to play, for example, 2 fairies, which is why the deck creates the cheap fairies,
Hmm.
then you get to very cheaply allow your combo to activate, and then you draw additional card, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, like the removal effect is really solid.
Yes.
But also if you're able to capitalize that and make her a cantrip essentially, uh, it's awesome.
Uh, yeah. The Forestcraft is a fairly... It's a spam deck. But you also need to be able to clear your own stuff. So there's also quite a few effects that are going to be returning your own cards to your hand, which is fun.
She's also a Verdant, which I guess is important to know that she's not a pixie.
She's not a pixie, yeah. But Waltzing Fairy is a pixie. So Waltzing Fairy is another silver card, free energy, free PP, sorry, play points, and she's a free. And we have yet another new symbol. So we've seen the F for Fanfare, which is when you play, and now we have L for the last word, which is when it's destroyed. So in both instances, you put a fairy into your EX area.
Yeah,
and then we
my dog really likes that, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Waltzing Fairy is Rimmer's favorite card so far. But yeah, so this is really good utility-wise, right? Because you've got when it comes in, you're gonna do that, so that's counting to 2 of your combo already there. And then also when it's removed, which is probably gonna happen.
Or even if you're going to trade it into something, it has fairly decent stats just to be.
Yeah, free is nothing to scoff at, really. It's decent. It's not amazing, but it's decent.
Yeah, and essentially draws you 2 cards, right? Because it puts those fairies in your EX, so you can choose when to play them, when to activate your combos. It's a really good and really powerful card. As far as the starter deck goes, it's one of the cards you always want to see in your opening hand.
I really do like Waltzing Fairy. I think she's got a lot of utility to her.
Yeah.
And she's a pixie, which helps.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the fairies very quickly. Those are the token cards that you do need to bring with you.
So these are actually different stock, and they're also not included in your deck.
They're not included in your deck, and you need to have enough tokens to be able to play maximum of them in every zone that they need to be in. So if you have effects that create fairies both in your EX, and then so if they create an EX, you need to be able to play them out. So you need to have 10 of those tokens. The same goes for bats that are created, etc. As this is the only token that starter deck Forestcraft creates, you get 10 of them straight out.
Which is nice. I again, another reason why, yes, the price is a little bit more expensive, but also I think like it gives you everything you need to get going. And
It's
I really
impossible
like
to shuffle them in as well.
Oh yeah, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference.
Immediately. The only thing I'm worried about is it might be also impossible to sleeve them.
That is a good point, actually. That is a good point. So next up.
Next one is Fairy Caster. He's an elf, so he's not a pixie.
No, he's a 4 PP, 3/3, which, it's okay. But it does have the fanfare of summon 3 fairy tokens. If your field becomes full from this effect, put any remaining tokens into your EX area. I really like this effect.
So you do not lose the value on him.
Exactly.
If you play him as a fifth card on the board,
you're going to get 3 cards in your EX. Yeah. It's great. And another thing we haven't really pointed out, but I think we should point out here, is it will tell you the token thing on the card.
Yes.
Which is really nice. I'm a big fan of that and how it's displayed.
Because technically you should be able to create other tokens, but they also shower you with tokens. As you open packs, every pack is also going to have 1 token or a character card, which you use to represent your class.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing.
Fairy Caster, really great for that synergy, really great at helping you boost up that combo if you need to get to it.
Yeah. Next one is our gold rare card, Titania Sanctuary. So this one is an amulet. Amulets are cards that you play, and they stay on board, so they take your slot, but they are not followers, so they cannot be attacked. On Fanfare, give each pixie token on your field +1 attack and +1 health. And those pluses stay because you put them as a counters. So you want to play this while you have 4 fairies on board. Also, while this card is on your field, your pixie tokens have a sail. Whenever a pixie token is put into your field, give it +1/+1. So it makes your tokens bigger, and they can. A sail is a keyword, if I remember correctly, that lets you attack followers that are inactive.
That sounds correct.
Which means you will be able to remove a lot. Together with Arya, you suddenly have tons of 2/2 fairies that can attack followers immediately and can attack any follower.
Yeah, like if you need to clear board, and if you've especially if you've got your EX area with tokens ready to go, this can become very scary very quickly.
Yeah. And of course, if you have multiple of those on board, it's just going to make your fairies bigger, but it's going to take more slots, which I
Yeah,
think is a
it's
very
risk
interesting
reward.
payout.
Yeah, it's I. So I mean, I can see instances where you're gonna go having two of these on board because I think at that point, if you've got an EX full of fairies, you can just go boom, 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 and then you're gonna get max value out of it.
Mm.
I think any more than that, you limit your own play space, which I think is probably not the best idea. But that's just my take on it.
But you run free because you want to see it.
Oh, of course,
And the
of
important thing
course.
is, this is also a pixie and a princess.
Yeah, that's one thing I do actually like about this game is like the amulets have traits.
So do the spells, because down the line, for people who play the mobile game as well, uh, there are cards that are just searching, for example, a pixie card in your deck, although it's mostly with like a festival and things like that.
Mm. So it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. And then we go into bronze cards. We have Water Fairy, your 1 drop, 1/1. It can
She's
evolve.
got evolve.
It
Yeah,
got
but
evolve
she
for
costs
2.
2. Yeah.
Exactly. But on the last word, she puts a fairy in your EX area.
So
And
there are instances where you can have her and just crash her into something to
yes.
get. Yeah.
But
I
if you have
so yes, she can evolve, but
if you have opportunity, you can also evolve her to make her a bit bigger, because she becomes a 2/2. On evolve, she gives you that fairy as well, and then if she still keeps that last word to put a fairy in your
yeah.
EX
So
area.
you don't lose out on anything from evolving it. I
Yes.
just think like the cost of just going pay 1, smash her into something, then still get rewarded. I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's very good. And because your evolve deck is usually, I mean, it's limited to 10 cards. You will usually find yourself you're going to be cutting on some cards that can evolve, just
Mm,
because they have other effects that you can use.
exactly. And this is a great like
Yes,
card to
this
look
is.
at in
I
that
could
regard.
easily see you playing only one Water Fairy evolution in your evolve deck down
Yeah,
the line.
I think that's a really good example of that. Next up is one of my favorite cards from this deck,
Trent,
Treant.
Trient.
So he is a free cost, free. We've seen that
Yep.
before. He is Fey touched, which just sounds cool. He is evolve for 2, but the main thing is fanfare combo free. Change this card's E cost to 0.
Yeah. So this is a play on how the card originally worked in the video game, in the mobile game,
Mm.
where if you had a combo 2, which in the video game it's not counting the card you're playing right now as a part of the combo,
Mm.
you just play him and he evolves automatically
Yeah,
as
I
his
love
effect.
him.
And
Yeah,
then he evolves into amazing 5/5.
so for free PP, you get a 5/5. Essentially, is how you want to be playing this guy, and that is pretty good. That is pretty good.
I think one thing that's worth mentioning, so far we have seen what is a standard for this game is that evolution increases the stats by +1/+1.
Mhm.
But this
This
guy
is 2/2.
2/2, yeah,
Yeah,
he just gets bigger.
it's just great. I really like this card. I think this is one of my favorite Forestcraft cards generally because it's just so generic.
Yes, it's going to be one of the staples for the first couple of sets, definitely.
I think so, right? I think so.
But also, he's a
And you
common,
only have to
which
pick
is
up one deck.
amazing.
Yeah,
He's
you only have to
exclusive
pick
to
up
the
one.
starter deck, but
But yeah, like for like oh, you would like normally you would give like this stat line to at least a silver or gold card. Like
yeah, it's a very interesting one. I really like it. And as you just progress with your gameplay, you just get a free evolve out of that.
hmm
And then we have Elf Wanderer, which has Assail, 2 play points, 2 free Assail, can attack reserved followers, which means it's the untapped followers. And this follower also ignores ward. So
that's actually really nice. That's a nice little
so if you have
thing
ward
that
to protect your stuff, suddenly I can just ignore it.
especially late game, right? If you're relying on that ward to be defensive,
Yes.
like coming in for like a 2 cost strike is not bad. Obviously, summoning sickness applies, and
Yep.
Alicia will help this. But as elves get again more expanded upon, I'm sure we'll see some more synergy with this, and I think this can become almost an assassin.
There's that thing that Shadowverse Evolve is progressing differently than the video game.
Yes.
They have very similar cards, but they changed them quite a bit
Hmm.
to make it work in the physical. They also changed the game on its own because in the original game you could evolve up to 3 times a game. Here you can
Yeah.
evolve 10 times.
Yeah. Um,
And then
and
we have one
finally,
last card, Sylvan Justice. And this is the biggest change between the video game, the mobile game, and the physical game.
hmm
So it's a 2 play point spell, which means you use it, it goes straight to the discard pile, because we haven't seen any spells yet. I'm going to talk about quick in a second, but it just lets you select an enemy follower on the field, deal 3 damage, and put a fairy token in your EX area. Very similar to
which
the original card, which dealt 2 damage and put a fairy in your hand, which in
yeah,
video game
I'm
is
gonna
easy.
yeah, I think like on paper, right? If you just do the maths, pay 2, deal 3, get a card in your AX.
Yeah.
That's just good numbers.
And now we go to a quick. Quick has never been a thing in Shadowverse because when Shadowverse was created, there was no technology to make interaction during your opponent's turn. And now we are way down the line to try and change that. So in Shadowverse, you don't have interaction during your opponent's turn. In Shadowverse Evolve, you do. You have 2 options to cast quick spells. It's when your opponent attacks and when your opponent declares to end the turn. And the fact that this is a quick spell now that lets you remove something that attacks, and it has that amazing breakpoint of 3 damage.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like 2 for 3 is so good.
Yeah, and that
And then the fairy is also nice as well.
yeah, it gives you the fairy, so it helps you progress with what you're doing. Again, this being a starter deck exclusive is a bit annoying because this is going to be a mainstay for the deck for a very long time. Because that's no
Yeah, I
matter
mean,
what version of Forest you want to run, you always
so
want to proc your combo and the removal.
we've got like you mentioned it there, right? Like, so yes, you can do it if my opponent's attacking me with a 3 or less, I can kill it off and then we're good. But you can also do it at the end of the turn. So if they've played something with 3 that can only take 3 damage, um,
Yeah,
this turn, and you've got 2 PP up, and they declare the end of the turn, you go quick, boom. I've also got a fairy that I can play out from my EX zone in my turn where my PP's been refreshed.
exactly.
Uh,
It does require you
it's
to keep the PP for the opponent's turn,
true.
but it makes it. The addition of that quick mechanic makes it so scary to play against the witch class.
Oh yes, which we'll get to. We'll get to. Been on the receiving end of that.
Oh right, yes, because that's my favorite class.
But yeah, overall, I think this is a really nice, really simplistic deck to get people involved in the game with. It explains Evolve very well. It has combo, which is very new player friendly. Of I just want to play my stuff, and then
Yeah,
I'm rewarded for playing my stuff. Again, it still dabbles with the more experienced type mechanics with Quick, which is, and again, I think like you said, it's a very good costed card. It's going to see a lot of play. It's elf based. It's really nice.
I think
And
it's very important to mention that it does teach you of all of those things, and I think that's amazing because it does its job as a starter deck.
yes, and I think you're given tools that will help you expand upon what you will see in the set.
Yes. Uh,
So overall, Forestcraft, I really like it. I think this is a great deck to give somebody who is newer to a game like this, and they can still understand pretty much everything that's there.
yeah, a lot of the cards are explained, and if you can just
Mm,
sit there and explain the rules to them, this was the deck that you learned how to play the game on.
yes. And my only critique on this is since this is the first set of the game and they are starter decks, I would have liked reminder text on the keywords. It's there on some, it's not there on others. It's a bit awkward, but
So
I
it's
think it's
not there on the basic game mechanics like Fanfare, Last Word, and
yeah, which
Evolve.
I think that's fine, right? Because they're identified by
Yeah,
symbols. It's the words themselves, like whereas your main card of this deck has ward, but that's the first card you're going to see, and you have no idea what ward is. Um,
I actually don't think Ward is explained on any of the cards in here because it's one of the mainstay game mechanics.
mm, but it would have been nice.
Combo was explained on the Triand,
Yeah,
but it was not explained on the Rose Gardener, which also had
it,
combo.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's weird, right? Like this is the
Yeah.
first that I would expect to see reminder text.
Assail also was not explained on Titania Sanctuary.
No, but it's explained elsewhere in the deck. But you know what I mean? It's just a
Mm.
bit weird, right? I think that's just a one thing that I would have liked to have seen, but I don't think it overall takes away from the experience, right?
At
I
the
think it would
same
just be a
time,
case of checking the rule book.
yeah, I was about to say at the same time you buy this, you get the rule book, and all of those keywords are going to be explained in there.
Yeah, yeah. It's just from a purely coming
Yeah,
at this game. I'm given a deck. I want to look at my nice shiny cards.
and I
It would
want
have
to
been
see.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that is perfectly fair. That is a valid criticism.
cool.
So that is Regal Fairy Princess starter deck. We have not talked about the cards that have not been revealed. So the cards that are not exclusives have not been revealed. They're going to be revealed during the set reveal, and that's where we're
Hmm.
going to go through them. We wanted to talk about the exclusives because I think exclusives are a bit more important in here because you buy them, and is there a point to buy it? And I think yes, especially in set one if you wanted to play elves, um, forest. Uh,
Forestcraft, yeah.
yeah, you do need Aria, you do need Sanctuary, you do need that Rose Gardener. There's and you do need
And
that
Sylvian,
Sylvan
right?
Justice.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a lot of cards that you do need, and I think it's also a great starting point. You buy this, and as you play the game, open more packs. You can put in more cards from the set into the deck, and I think that's amazing. Because
You'll get a really good idea of how you want to play the game through playing this deck.
yes, and I think this is one thing that they do really well is they give you good starting point. As you play the game, it's very easy to progress it, and I love it.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button for the Shadowverse Evolved content. Again, leave a comment if you want to see a how to play series from us. We will have gameplay coming to the channel, as well as openings. And again, if you need some binders, deck boxes, whatever their needs be, go into the comment section or go into our description box. You will see the links for Voltex and use code Players Guild. It helps us and it helps our brand and it helps everything. And you get a discount on some products, which is
Wait,
always a win.
10% discount is nothing to scoff at.
No, no, it's really handy actually, especially when you end up doing what I do, where I end up buying like 10, 12 pocket binders at a time because it's just like I have too many games I need to store. But yes, there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. I've been Scott Seven, your Guildmaster, joined by Loki Smith, and we'll see you next time.